Hello viewers, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today, what I'll be discussing in this video is things to consider before determining under which system to contract your marriage. In Nigeria, there are two types of marriage legally recognized. One, marriage under custom, and two, marriage under the Act that we refer to as marriage at the registry or statutory marriage. So it is important for you to know what you want so as to make the proper decision. If you are a man and you don't believe in the concept of one man, one woman, marriage under the Act is not the best for you, because after marrying under the Act, if you still go ahead to marry another person, it is an offense punishable with 7 years imprisonment under the Criminal Code, Section 370 of the Criminal Code, while under the Marriage Act, it is punishable with 5 years imprisonment by virtue of Section 47 of the Marriage Act. Then, as a woman, it is important that where you want your man to yourself, you don't want to share your man with another woman, it is important that you insist on statutory marriage, that is marriage under the Act, because at least the fear of kirikiri would restrain your man from going ahead to marry another wife or marrying different wives. Another thing that you must note is that under custom, once you are married, once a man marries you under custom, all the property you acquired before that marriage and all the properties you acquire in the marriage becomes the property of your husband. Yes, you heard me right. There is an adage in Yoruba that says that eni to leru lo leru. In Akinubi and Akinubi, the Supreme Court held that women are chattel to be inherited, wives are chattel to be inherited. So women are viewed as chattel, and that is why I said enito nieru lo leru. It is he who owns the slaves that owns the goods of the slave. And that is why, as a woman, where you marry under custom, all the properties you have before the marriage and all the properties you will have in the marriage becomes the property of your husband. But where you decide to marry under the Act, by virtue of the relevant provisions of Married Women Properties Act and Married Women Properties Law, where a person marries under the Act, such a person has the right to acquire property, hold property, and to dispose her property. But the provisions of Married Women Property Act and Married Women Property Law is not in any way applicable to a woman who married under custom. Now you can see that it is important, if you're an ambitious lady, a hardworking lady whose dream of having properties everywhere, it is not advisable for you to marry under custom, because the moment you marry under custom, all the properties you acquired before the marriage and even all the properties you acquire in the marriage becomes the property of your husband. But that is not the same under the Act, because under the Act, the law gives you that permission. The law allows you to hold, to acquire property as a woman separately. If you have gotten value from this video so far, please hit the subscribe button and like this video. Please, I'm begging you, if you have gotten value so far, hit the subscribe button and like this video. You can also drop your comments in the comment section. Let's proceed. Having talked about that, another thing is where you marry under custom as a woman, you cannot inherit the property of your husband depending on the custom. There are some customs that forbids a wife from inheriting the property of her husband, and that custom is prevalent in most parts of southern Nigeria. For example, under Yoruba native land custom, it has been held in Davis and Davis, that inheritance under Yoruba native land custom follows the bloodline, and that a woman cannot inherit the property of her husband because inheritance follows bloodline. So where a woman does not give birth to a male child, for instance, under some custom, it now becomes difficult for her to get anything from that marriage. Where she gives birth to a male child or male children, she can claim through her children, because all the properties of the husband becomes the property of the children at death, and her children will definitely not leave her empty-handed. Although under Yoruba native land custom, female children are permitted to inherit the properties of their father. So even though if a woman does not give birth to male children under Yoruba native land custom, her female children can inherit the properties of their father, and they will definitely settle their mother. But it will become a pathetic situation where that woman does not give birth to any child at all. In that situation, she might not get anything out of that marriage where she marries under custom. Then, under the Act, where a person dies intestate, Section 49 of Administration of Estate Laws of Ogun State, Oyo State, and Ekiti State adequately makes provision on how properties are to be shared, and a surviving wife or a surviving husband is entitled to the properties of the deceased wife or deceased husband. Yes, where the woman dies without children, any relative, the husband takes everything, and it is vice versa. If it is the husband that dies without children, without parents or sisters or brothers, the wife inherits everything. But it is not the same under custom, because under custom, inheritance follows bloodline, Davis and Davis. And even under custom, under Yoruba native land custom, women are viewed as chattel to be inherited, so they cannot inherit the properties of their husband. That is Akinubi and Akinubi. So it is very, very important that while making the decision under which system to marry, you also know the consequences of the decision you are making. If you have find this video useful, please do well to subscribe to my channel, hit the like button, like this video to encourage me to create more informative and educative content like this, and also share with your family and friends. And it is also important for you to know that where you marry under native land custom, at divorce, you heard me right, at divorce, you are not entitled to anything. Yes, even where you have acquired a property jointly with your husband, you are going to lose everything at divorce. But where you marry under the Act, at divorce, you can bring an action for settlement of property. I discussed this in my last video. If you have not seen that video, look out for it. You can bring an action for settlement of property, and where you can successfully prove joint ownership of financial contribution, the court will distribute that property between you and your husband as the court deems just and equitable. Essien and Essien, Amadi and Nwosu are very illustrative on these points. But where you marry under custom, once you divorce, there is nothing for you. So it is very important for you to know the consequences of the system of marriage you are contracting. It is very, very important. So I don't want this video to be too long, so let me end it here. Thank you for watching.